up somehow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, in the event you are pondering and wondering, yes, Straight Talk is here and waiting and all anxious to say greetings to all of you who are on the World Wide Web. I know I'm a little tardy, and I beg your forgiveness. Please forgive me. I just got carried away doing so many other things and just wasn't aware that the time had just gone by. So I say greetings again to you. my Straight Dog family, for those of you on the World Wide Web and those of you all around the globe, just to inform you that we reach and communicate with you from right here in the beautiful Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, with two beautiful islands and one lovely paradise. So I'm at liberty to say good night, St. Kitts, or I am bound, rather, first of all, to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and good night to the entire Caribbean region. And I welcome all of you, wherever you are, and especially the first-timers. And we thank those who continue to share the link. Because whenever you do so, we do get first-timers. And if you're joining me for the first time, I say welcome. And just to inform you that Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the p.m. And it's a program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expressions on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let us, my Straight Talk family, try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. Let us try to raise the level of international, local, international, regional, I'm mixing this up, all the same, discourse by alerting all our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I am always minded to inform you that on this program, we do not water down anything. Absolutely nothing is watered down on this program, my Straight Dog family. We never try to become sensational to make it more interesting. There's no exaggeration. We don't create excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy, because we lean on the facts, as it is my bounden duty, as I always say, to present the what I call the unvarnished truth by Straight Dog family, especially when it comes to governance in St. Kitts and Nevis and all over the world, because we reach and touch you all across the Federation. We reach and communicate with you all throughout the diaspora, all around the world. We're joined together. Some of you we have met. Some of you we will never ever meet physically, I'm sure. Some of us will agree and some of us will disagree, because we are different people and we entertain what I call a diversity of views. But yes, we are expected to disagree. But let's not become disagreeable, my Straight Dog family. Let us, in the meanwhile, thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation as always. Let us thank Him nonetheless for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So welcome again, my Straight Dog family. And I must remind you as well, especially the first timers, that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your monitors. And if you like what I call the cloak of anonymity, we give you access via our email platform as well. And that address is also on your screens. And my Straight Talk family, if you are accessing Alexa, all you have to do is just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. And then you are hearing us and seeing us live. And my Straight Talk family, for those who have made donations, we say thank you. A big, big thank you. And please continue to do so. It helps us, no matter the size of your contribution, it helps us to defray our costs for what I call this public service program. And with those who are interested, just scan that code on your screen. Very simple process, and you, in a few seconds, in a few minutes, you'll be making a donation if you so please, if you so wish, I must say. And I can assure you again, it is highly confidential in my Straight Talk family. And I must say a special welcome to my Straight Talk Junior Brigade. That's something I'm sure you will have understood by now. My Junior Brigade are the future of Straight Talk. They are for tomorrow. I meet quite a lot of them. They do recognize me, and I'm so humbled. Mr. Straight Talk, I heard the little ones call me just yesterday. And I wonder. I pondered. And one asked me, why don't you call me? And I told her, I can't. Ask your mom or your dad. Because young Dwayne's father, Tristan, reminds his mom. So his mom said, it's okay. Jasmine, Shamar, Kevin, young Rue, Travis, Jamal in Anguilla. How is Anguilla? Travis, Trevor of Ponds Extension, and my grandson Neymar always waits to hear his name called, believe it or not. His friend Soraya as well. And Elizabeth. And that special lady in St. Louis. Greetings to all. We normally move into our observations in review, and I won't hesitate since we started a little late. And after our observations and review, we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I've titled Inside the SEZ, Libertarians, Racists, and Bigots. That's a question we ask tonight. There's all sorts of people will be descending upon Nevis in that destiny special economic zone. But over the weekend, my Straight Talk family, the nation was shaken by a tragic and fatal rear-end collision that has cast a shadow of sorrow over a moment of great joy. Because just hours after young Tatiana Archer of the Immaculate Conception Catholic School was crowned Miss Teen St. Kitts Nevis for 2025-2026. And everybody celebrated. Even my good friend, Father Courage. One could understand the celebrations. But while these celebrations were still unfolding, hours after, news broke of the untimely passing of Tatiana's mother, her chaperone as well, Janet Johnson. And this heartbreaking loss is a solemn reminder, my Straight Talk family, of the fragility of life. Life is fragile, and death is a process. But though Janet has journeyed to the great beyond, her love and her cherished memories, I'm sure, will forever live on. She leaves to mourn her 2 children, extended family, and the entire pageantry community in St. Kitts and Nevis and beyond. And we here at Straight Talk extend our deepest condolences to the family during this difficult time, and we pray that Janet Johnson's soul will rest in eternal peace. And as we move into our first observation, last week, Thursday, I spoke with you about why St. Kitts' desalination strategy is a technical misstep, and why the 24/7 water promise by the SOCA engineer cannot be delivered, because St. Kitts is attempting to solve a chronic water supply crisis with a strategy that violates basic engineering logic. Building a multi-million gallon per day seawater desalination plant while the national distribution system loses 53% of all water produced, and that I consider recklessness. The SOCA engineer been up and down, very uneasy because of these comments. But this, I assured you, is not an exaggeration, my people, but a hard statistic reported by the SOCA engineer himself during his presentation of the country's voluntary national review, which was prepared under Team Unity, under my watch as a then permanent representative at the UN. And it happened that things changed, and he was the one who presented this voluntary national review, like I said. And even the document which you read, if you go to page 64, I failed to post it on Thursday, but I do so now. Better late than never, my Straight Talk family. And on page 64, it is clear, absolutely clear. Pellucid, as my friend would say, St. Kitts and Nevis faces challenges with respect to the distribution of water due to aging infrastructure leakages, high unaccounted for water due to corrosion and leaking pipes, and inadequate storage to keep pace with peak demands. And it goes on, but the fact is, I promise to provide you with the evidence and I always strive to keep my promises. But Terence Michael Drew himself did make the point that, or rather, if you listen to him and interpret what he said, he would have called his own engineer a failure. Because Terence Michael Drew said this, my Straight Dog family.
Cannot do it without water. And any government that can't deliver water to its people is a failed government. Cannot do it without water. And any government that can't deliver water to its people is a failed government.
So, in a sense, Terence Michael Drew is accepting failure. But I want to digress for a moment tonight, my Straight Dog family, from the issue of desalination. But I promise to revert this coming Thursday, God spare, on the issue of desalination, because there are lots of things I need to bring to your attention. The quality, yes, the discharge of the brine, and issues of that nature. But I want to, as I said, digress tonight because I wanted to bring to your attention a plan that has gone, it seems, unnoticed by the general population for almost 1 year. It is a clandestine plan, my Straight Dog family, to install and introduce prepaid water meters. Yes, he told us about prepaid electric meters. But how many of us knew about the prepaid water meters? And you can glean from your screens, my Straight Dog family, the request for proposals, RFP, for that pilot project to install prepaid water meters. And the soccer engineer posted it on his social media, as you can glean. But that seemed to have slipped through the crack. And we never followed that for some time, my Straight Dog family. So I thought tonight I would highlight this clandestine plan to introduce prepaid meters. How could the soccer engineer and the Terence Michael Drew administration be so unconscionable, my Straight Dog family, so heartless? The United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, declared access to safe, clean drinking water and sanitation a human right in a 2010 resolution ARES 64292. 122 countries voted in favor for it. 0 against, none voted against it. And 41 abstentions we had, recognizing it as essential, I should say, for life, that is water. What is life, we sometimes say. It's as essential for life and human dignity. Through implementation and varying national commitments, though implementation, I should say, and varying commitments continue. What the resolution did was to affirm that the right to water and sanitation is crucial for realizing all human rights and living in dignity. The declaration established water and sanitation as a fundamental human right and required states to ensure affordable, safe, accessible, and sufficient water for personal and domestic use. So my Straight Talk family, the Water Services Department's introduction, I should say, of prepaid meters will primarily boost its revenue collection, of course, and improve financial stability within the department and the government by ensuring payment before consumption. In other words, you're prepaid. You have to pay in advance for your water. These meters will turn water into a prepaid service. Simply meaning, my Straight Talk family, and look at it again. Requests for proposals for prepaid meters. These meters will turn water into a prepaid service, meaning no credit. If there's no credit on your meters, then you get no water. What a heartless government, my Straight Talk family. What a devious plan. But we'll hear much more about that in months to come, my Straight Talk family. But we'll move to our second observation. And tomorrow is budget day. And Terence Michael Drew can no longer delay the inevitable, the unavoidable. He has to bring the budget because he needs authority to spend money come next fiscal year 2026. But our country is broke. Broke. Hard-working public servants in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, my Straight Talk family, above all places, will be getting a double bubble, they call it, a double salary for the first time, emulating St. Kitts and Nevis under Team Unity and the third Prime Minister Timothy Harris, which became the Yuletide norm, I call it, the norm during Christmas time. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines is doing this.
I forgot that I had to mention to our hard-working public servants, right, that we often hear St. Kitts getting a double bubble, and they often ask, what about us? So it's historical. It's going to be the first time that St. Vincent and the Grenadines public servants will ever be receiving a double bubble for Christmas. First time. So you know, it is a reality. And we have to also make that a reality. Okay? Never happened before, and we can brag like St. Kitts now. And those other countries where the governments have done. You can't compare that with 3%. And for those workers, especially those at the very bottom getting $30, consider $30 versus $1,000+. The maths is really simple. So let's get this done.
Thank you.
Yes, he said St. Vincent and the Grenadines can boast like St. Kitts and Nevis. But we can't boast no more with this irresponsible, reckless administration led by Terence Michael Drew. We can't boast anymore, my Straight Talk family. But what can we expect tomorrow? What can we expect to hear tomorrow? Last time it was 5 hours of diatribe. But what can we expect to hear tomorrow about millions in debt and budget deficit? But who knows? Because our Prime Minister cannot differentiate credit from debit. But he's surely in the red. But you know, when he says he's in the red, he finds money. That's the sad situation we have with a prime minister like Joe. But we await the nonsense budget tomorrow. Things are hard. I can tell you in advance, my Straight Talk family. Mark Brantley has cut his $66 million budgetary support to $35 million. Wow. Will he increase? Look at what he's getting for the CBI. He'll make some forecasts or predictions because they expect to ram through this Destiny project and sell some money or sell some passports, I should say, under that project for the CBI. Our third observation, my Straight Dog family, relates to another stalwart, political stalwart in the Caribbean who has signaled his intention to move on. And that stalwart is none other than Dr. Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister of Grenada. He said this last week in Parliament in Grenada.
Mr. Speaker, to my brothers and sisters in this honorable house, as I said, it's expected that this would be my last budget presentation. As I said, do not take anything I say personally. If I said something like, well, forgive me, that was not the intention. I just trying to be me and how I feel. Don't take it personally. I just want you to know this. Nothing personal. I wish all of you success, because if you succeed, it means Grenada succeeds, sisters and brothers. I say to you that I have been to the mountaintop, Mr. Speaker. I have been to the mountaintop, Mr. Speaker. I have seen it all. I have failed. I have succeeded. I have fallen down, and I have gotten up.
In the presentation, Speaker of the House of Representatives Leo Keto expressed appreciation for his political contributions.
You have given a very, very emotional and touching presentation. I wish, before I hand over to the next speaker, I wish to say to you, Dr. Mitchell, that you will always remain a prominent icon on Grenada's political desktop.
Yes, he will remain an icon as he moves out from elective politics, Dr. Keith Mitchell. Our fourth and final observation for tonight, my Straight Dog family, relates to the Trump administration's approval of the boarding of an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. And this was reported by most media last week.
So Attorney General Pam Bondi releasing dramatic video of the daring operation, and it shows U.S. forces swooping in from a helicopter above the vessel and then landing on the deck of the ship with their weapons drawn. At the White House, President Trump called the seizure more than justified.
From the standpoint of news, as you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later. It was seized for a very good reason.
But my Straight Talk family, the question we ask, would we see more combat in the Caribbean region, which has always been known as a zone of peace? Because believe it or not, 25% of the United States fleet of warships are currently deployed in the region. 25% of the coast of Venezuela. The U.S. claimed to be fighting narco-terrorists that are tied to and funding the Venezuelan regime. Meanwhile, the Terrence Michael Jew administration is mum on this serious geopolitical development in the region. What this means for diplomatic ties with the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and our relationship established some 42 years ago. And that's a question which looms large in the minds of all, as St. Kitts and Nevis has benefited immensely from this relationship through the Petro-Carib and other bilateral agreements. But as I said, our foreign minister, who was Prime Minister, actually signed that Petro-Carib agreement, I think was way back in 2010 or somewhere thereabout. But the current Prime Minister, as I said, is tight-lipped on this geopolitical development within the Caribbean region. But Straight Talk will continue to follow this developing story. And those are my observations in review for tonight. And I move right into my thesis, which again I intimated earlier, I have titled Inside the SEZ, Libertarians, Racists and Bigots. My Straight Talk family, in a thesis I presented to you sometime in August this year, I address the SEZ, as Drew calls it, which he explained is the Sustainable Island State Agenda of St. Kitts and Nevis. An agenda Drew informed the Parliament that he also presented to the United Nations. He told us this, my Straight Talk family.
Madam Speaker, St. Kitts and Nevis has set a clear direction through our Sustainable Island State Agenda, SEZ for short. SEZ, the Sustainable Island State Agenda, is our plan to make life better and safer for our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis in this changing world. Of course, this addresses multiple issues at the same time. This was developed, of course, after long months of consultation and bringing experts in the field to have collaboration, which has led us to this strategy, this overall national strategy. This was presented for the first time to the United Nations as a demonstration to the world of how serious St. Kitts and Nevis is with respect to sustainable development.
And my Straight Talk family, after examining this agenda more closely, I found out, however, that this SEZ was all about the sale of our lands. And not just the sale of our lands, but the sale of our lands to foreigners here on St. Kitts, but to our surprise, without much hesitation, across the Narrows in Nevis. Terrence Michael Jew, our Prime Minister, rushed to the Parliament and approved the bill that he claimed was part of his Sustainable Island State Agenda, SEZ. Recall the first reading in July. Then, without much debate, 2 weeks later, in August, came the second and third reading before the bill was passed into law. And 1 week later, Mark Brantley announced this, my Straight Talk family. Mark Brantley suddenly announced this, believe it or not, after not saying anything for a whole year, my Straight Talk family. Nobody heard about this special economic zone. Something new to us. Rush through Parliament. And then suddenly, Brantley made this surprise announcement. My Straight Talk family. Very surprised announcement that he said, or he told the Federation and mainly divisions that he had this proposal and no doubt had it for some time, my Straight Talk family. Remember this. I'm sure you would recall when he made this announcement, my Straight Talk family.
Good evening, thank you for holding.
Hi, thank you. I have some questions about the proposal. Would it be possible for us to get a copy of the proposal that was submitted? What is the proposed residential population of the site?
The first question was, can the public get a copy of the proposal? That is not the norm, that we would share a copy, but I think that the proposal does speak about a population in that area in terms of people living there, tourists, because remember, as I said, they're talking there's a minimum of 3 residential areas being created, and so they have advanced numbers of anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 people moving in and out of that particular zone.
And yes, I don't think that was the one I intended to play. But he also said this as well, my Straight Talk family, about this proposal which he said was going to be a game changer.
The establishment of the Special Sustainability Zone, the first of its kind within the Eastern Caribbean, must be seen as a new and proactive approach to public-private sector partnership for development. The build-out of activities within this zone will be a game changer for Nevis, not only elevating our prominence within the region, but also generating significant economic activity across various sectors during both the construction and operational phases. The proposed Destiny development, which is expected to occupy just over 2,000 acres of land, is akin to a high-end ultra-luxury villa and resort development. This development will position Nevis as a destination for high-end investment, surpassing any scale of development that we have seen in our sub-region. Once we have completed the final negotiations, we'll be in a better position to advise all residents of both St. Kitts and Nevis. The final agreement will be brought to this assembly, for ratification, and will be made public as part of the legislative process.
So yes, my Straight Talk family, this forced me to revise. I said it again. This forced me to revise the meaning of CISA, as I intimated earlier, to the sale of islands swiftly approved. Because this undoubtedly was the new scam led by Terence Michael Drew and Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, who have joined in one purpose, to wit, to sell our land to foreigners. Yes, our land, which is absolutely a core part of our sovereignty. Imagine, my Straight Talk family, on St. Kitts, Terence Michael Drew sent his messenger Joel to tell us this, my Straight Talk family. Terence Michael Drew sent his young messenger Joel to tell the country this, my Straight Talk family. And she did, without fear, made it clear to us that poor people not supposed to get land, and if they get land, there's going to be a limit to whatever land they provide for us here in St. Kitts. I'm speaking specifically to St. Kitts now, my Straight Dog family, because Terence Michael Drew sent his young messenger, Joel, to say this to us.
And we have to build smaller. 20-something years ago, 30-something years ago, CHA, NHC, they gave out land at probably 2,000, 3,000 square feet. And then we moved up to half acre and an acre because everybody wanted, you have a family, you want to live in comfort with space. Now we're recognizing that you have to, reduce the size of the lots. NHC standard 4,000 to 5,000 square feet, and people can build sizable homes on them. So that's part of the vision.
You heard that vision? Part of the vision of the Terence Michael Drew Labour administration, we were told, is to reduce the size of lots available to citizens in St. Kitts to 4,000 square feet. But across the Narrows on Nevis, Mark Brantley is quite comfortable to facilitate the allocation of over 2,000 acres of land to one man for the proposed development of a project called Destiny. Destiny, my Straight Dog family. Imagine that.
To the specifics of the proposal, I believe that, I don't have the number right in front of me, but I think that they're targeting somewhere just above 2,400 acres of land. That's the target area.
Yes,
No,
yes.
I said target area because, of course, it depends on who is willing to sell. Because if people in the target area are not willing to sell, then they need to adjust the boundaries of what it is they're seeking to do. So that is the target area, as I understand it. And they are proposing this sustainable zone, which will be based on sustainable practices, environmental protection, but luxury residences and resorts. So it's a lifestyle type of investment that they're proposing.
2,400 acres for one man. And here in St. Kitts, Terence Michael Drew sent his messenger Joel to tell us we all can get 4,000 square feet. My Straight Dog family. But negotiations are ongoing, we are told, but under the cloud of secrecy between Olivier Johnson's team of leading global professionals. Imagine, Olivier Johnson has put together a team of global professionals, professors in this and professors in that. And here's this. They are negotiating with 3 blind mice. Mark Brantley, Eric Evelyn, and Spencer Brand. Could you imagine that? A team of professionals negotiating with, I call them 3 blind mice, with the greatest respect. Mark, Eric, and Spencer, my good friend Spencer. In the meanwhile, it has been reported in international commentary that Olivier Johnson has espoused libertarian views that many observers have found to be troubling. Some publications, such as the Reza magazine report, have gone beyond libertarian and as far as calling Johnson's a racist, my Straight Dog family. This is how far they have gone in analyzing and describing Johnson's, my Straight Dog family. They have gone to refer to him as a Belgian racist, my Straight Dog family. But here in St. Kitts and Nevis, The core problem is not our geography or our economy. It is the quality of leadership we elect. Too many of our leaders chase short-term deals over long-term vision. Our leaders align themselves with foreign billionaires while ignoring the potential and their own people. They ignore you and I. Our leaders are all prepared to serve party politics instead of the best public interest. Meanwhile, local farmers struggle to lease 2 acres of land. Young people can't afford and can't get land. And families go hungry while arable lands lie fenced off behind private property signs. Is this what independence should really look like? It is troubling for us in St. Kitts, as most of us are landless. And this current administration, as I said before, has already taken steps to reduce the size of land allocated to poor people and have asked us to build smaller. That's the reality. The demographic, economic, and national security implications are enormous. Yet the government pushes ahead without consultation, without clarity, and without safeguards. This is not planning, my straight dog family. It is recklessness. And don't talk about conflicts of interest, contradictory statements, and public distrust. The public has seen enough inconsistency to know something is wrong. Conflict of interest, alleged and never clarified, my straight dog family, never clarified. But we have all these conflict of interest situations that are not being addressed, my straight dog family. Because today, St. Kitts Nevis faces one of the greatest threats to its reputation, its sovereignty, its future. The unfolding controversy surrounding the SEZs and the Destiny and the Aquarian Consult project here on St. Kitts. And I always speak plainly. The people of this country feel that something is deeply wrong. And the government's silence only deepens that suspicion. There's a lack of transparency and the collapse of governance. We were told that the SEZ legislation would bring investment, innovation, and opportunity. Instead, what we see is the potential for the largest CBI scandal this federation has ever witnessed. Not because we, the people, made that claim, but because the government's own actions have raised every red flag imaginable. Any system that looks built for abuse will eventually be abused. And this is the core political truth. If you design a system with no guardrails, if you weaken oversight, if you centralize power, if you ignore public institutions, if you bypass independent scrutiny, then you have built a system capable of the biggest CBI scams in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. And the SEZ framework as it stands today looks exactly like that system. Here we have a legislation that authorizes and empowers the Prime Minister with the approval of his cabinet, my straight dog family. And if necessary, the Nevis Island administration to enter into development agreements for the establishment of special sustainability zones on real property within St. Kitts and Nevis, and to provide for related or incidental matters, my straight dog family. That's what we have in St. Kitts and Nevis. The legislation, my straight dog family, was passed, like I said before, in Parliament. Section 4.1 of the Act authorizes the Prime Minister to enter into a development agreement with the prior approval of his cabinet, my straight dog family. And thereafter, my straight dog family, Section 6.1 Section 6.1, my straight dog family, is also pellucid. Pellucid, it is clear. That's section 7. Let me get to section 6.1 for you, my straight dog family. But section 6.1 of the Act provides that a development agreement shall be deemed to be enforceable between the parties. So this creates immediate legal rights and obligations. It is only after this enforceable agreement exists that section 7.1 requires to be laid before the legislature or the parliament for ratification. Well, my straight dog family, I ask you this question. Mark Anthony Graham Bantley said he went to, I think it was Norman Manley Law School. You recall he said that, my straight dog family? He went to Norman Manley Law School in Jamaica. He also said he was number 1 in class and got all kinds of certificates. So ask yourselves the question, do you believe that this is an error or oversight on the part of Mark Brantley?
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was number 1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated number 1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
But ask yourselves the question, my straight dog family. So why Mark Brantley believes that he, Mark, and Olivia Johnsons could outsmart us? Nobody could outsmart he said. But he believes he and Olivia could outsmart us. Repeal the act is what the country is demanding. Mark Brantley has a moral obligation, not just a political one. A moral obligation to ensure that anyone welcome to shape the future of Nevis must respect human dignity, equality, and the safety of our people. It has been reported in international commentary, like I said, that Johnson has espoused libertarian views. Some publications, such as Reason Magazine report, as I said before, and have gone as far as calling him a racist or a bigot, my straight dog family. One of his colleagues or one of his cronies, according to this report, did say that he did say this, my straight dog family, which as well is troubling. One of his cronies said this: and no, they went on to say, my straight dog family, and speak about the killing of niggers. That's what they said, my straight dog family. They also said this as well, my straight dog family. I must provide you the evidence. Evidential matter is critical. Critical at all times, my Straight Dog family. Critical to find this information at all times, my Straight Dog family. Because we need to always present the facts. And this is what was said as well by Straight Dog family. But I rank the hypocrisy highly. Because again, allegations must be verified. But yes, Nevis has a moral duty to ensure that any partnership respects human dignity, equality, and the safety of every person living on our soil. And we can talk about the rank hypocrisy surrounding the Citizenship by Investment Program. Olivier Jensen confirmed that Destiny is a CBI project. Neither Drew or Brantley confirmed that. Olivier Johnson came to us and said that the Destiny project was in fact a CBI project, my Straight Dog family. He did in fact say it loud and clear for everyone listening to hear that the CBI project was in fact, or that the Destiny project, that's how it should be framed, is in fact a CBI project.
Is the project a CBI project?
We're still discussing with the government, of course, but yes, the idea is that people that buy a unit can also or get a passport with that, so it also increases the CBI income, because the CBI income has been drying up substantially. It's also a big concern for the island, so it can definitely help rejuvenate the whole passport program.
You see that, my Straight Dog family? The rank hypocrisy. Because we were told loudly, repeatedly, that the prison project was criminal. It was corrupt and a scam, because 5,500 CBI shares were allocated to it. 5,500 shares. Yet today, we are expected to nod politely while 10,000 CBI approvals are being discussed for the Destiny project. 10,000. So I ask this government directly. I ask Mark Brantley directly. If 5.5 thousand shares were a scandal, what is 10,000? If the prison project was criminal, my Straight Dog family, according to Drew. According to Drew, the prison project was criminal. Well, if the prison project was criminal, what do you say about the Destiny project, Terrence Drew? Terrence Michael July. What do you say about the Destiny project? If you said that the prison project was criminal, then why is this Destiny project celebrated? Why? If transparency was demanded, then why secrecy is acceptable now? Why? Why is secrecy acceptable now? What is happening right now is not development. It is not destiny. It is a betrayal unfolding in plain sight, my Straight Dog family. A betrayal unfolding in plain sight, as I said. unfolding in plain sight, my Straight Talk family. The so-called Destiny Project is being paraded before Nevis and salvation. But just call it what it is. A massive, irreversible transfer of land, power, and citizenship, engineered without transparency and defended with arrogance. Oliver Johnson said negotiations are advanced, but does not want to go in to the new year. Will we be a nation that welcomes investment without values? Our nation says clearly, you may bring your money, but you will not bring hate, exclusion, or ideology domination. And my Straight Talk family, I've seen a chilling headline in the Financial Times. Bitcoin investor plans Caribbean community with its own court system. And my Straight Talk family as well, we find the courage. Neither the Premier or his wife Sharon Mama Brantley, nor the developer Oliver Johnson could find the courage to speak to the Financial Times. And silence, my friends, is never neutral. Silence is a statement. But just last night, the Premier of Barbados, Mia Mottley, in a national address, said this to Barbadians about speaking in Parliament. And she said, speaking in Parliament is not the same as being transparent. And we must stop pretending that.
A few nights ago, in the House of Assembly, the Minister of Home Affairs opened the second reading of two companion measures, the Immigration Bill 2025 and the Citizenship Bill 2025, and then asked that those bills go to the Parliamentary Governance Standing Committee for wider consultation before final passage. This is how big change should happen in a democracy, in the open, with the country invited to weigh in.
Yes, taking the final agreement to Parliament is no model for transparency, because parliamentary speeches are controlled environments. Leaders choose what to say, what to omit, and when to end the discussion. There is no obligation to release full contracts, letters, financial models, risk assessments, or legal opinions. There is no requirement to answer every question fully, truthfully, or at all. A speech, no matter how eloquent, is not evidence. Transparency means access, not performance. True transparency requires the publication of all agreements, including drafts and amendments. Disclosure of conflicts of interest, not dismissive denials. Independent legal and financial reviews available to the public. Meaningful public consultation before discussions or decisions are finalized, not after. My Straight Talk family, when leaders say, I address it in Parliament, what they even often mean is that I spoke, but I did not submit myself to scrutiny. Parliamentary privilege allows statements to be made without consequence. Journalists cannot ask questions or cross-examine members in Parliament. Citizens cannot demand documents. Experts cannot interrogate assumptions. And crucially, the public cannot verify what is being claimed. So let's not be fooled by this going to Parliament, my Straight Talk family. Leaders are responsible to explain plainly, directly, and respectfully, as Mia Mottley said. And that is a lesson our leaders, Terence Michael July and Mark Anthony Graham Brantley the Snake, should both learn. Come and explain this Destiny and other SEZ projects to the people, plainly, directly, and respectfully. The Destiny Project proposes accommodation for 10,000 CBI applicants. If one applies the standard family structure, spouse and 2 children, then we are talking about up to 40,000 new citizens. That is 3 times the current population of Nevis. Who was consulted? Was there a referendum? Where was the national conversation? Are we expected to accept demographic transformation by executive signature alone? Hell no. And once that signature is placed, once the Prime Minister and Premier signs, as I said, Section 6.1 of the Special Economic Zone Authorization Act, number 21 of 25, it makes it binding. Binding, my straight talk family. We remember Prospero. And instead of learning from that example, what does Nevis Island administration do? Rushes to entrench destiny beyond democratic reach, my straight talk family, and burdens the government. Makes it burdensome for the government.
The only onus on the government side is not to repeal. So they're saying, listen, in terms of risk profile, the risk to them is exponentially greater than the risk to the government, because the government is not being asked to spend or invest any money. So if this thing were to move forward, the only obligation on the part of the government is not to repeal the legislation. Now, if they were to walk away, so let us say they come in and after a year or 2, they decide that this isn't going well and we want to walk away, then the current provision that is there, which I should add is a matter that we are still negotiating, is that they have a $75 million penalty. Now, let me be clear that there are penalties built in at every step of the way. So if they don't meet a deadline for their roads, I'm just drawing a reference. If they don't meet a deadline for their water treatment, then their penalty is built in. But if they were to decide tomorrow, you know what, let's just walk away entirely, then we built in a penalty thus far, which is, let me emphasize, still under discussion, of $75 million secured by land. So put differently, if it is they were to walk away and they don't pay, then the government will take the land up to that value of $75 million US dollars. So that is the current discussion that is happening in relation to that. But on the penalty on the other side, that is from the government to them, if the government were to repeal the SEZ legislation, that is difficult for me today to tell you a number, because there's a formula for calculating that. So if we were to repeal it 2 months after this agreement were passed into law and the zone came into effect, they may not have spent very much in terms of capex, right? Capital expenditure. They may not have spent very much in terms of anything else. And so we're really only talking about the cost of the land at that point. If, however, we repeal it after 20 years, when, of course, you have a fully developed, then clearly you can see that the cost would be exponentially greater if a government in 20 or 25 years were to decide at that point that they do not want these people here and they want to get rid of them.
So my straight talk family is placing a burden on us. Olivier said Nevis is not safe. And why would he want to invest? My straight talk family. But history teaches us a simple truth. When leaders stop listening, when deals are rushed, when secrecy replaces consultation, when penalties protect investors more than citizens, the people pay the price. And my straight talk family, I spoke up the Financial Times and I wanted to share that with you. But I'll have to do on some other occasion. But finally, when one of Johnson's cronies was quoted as calling for guns to kill those sand niggers and their servants, just like the animals they are, my straight talk family, perhaps it explains why Destiny needs its own security. The 2013 record gives legitimate cause for concern about Johnson's past associations and statements. That history is documented. Mark Brandt alluded to transparency in 2025, but it is partial. So tonight and thereafter, let us take a deeper dive into this Destiny project to see what we find inside the SEZ. Libertarians, Belgian racists, and bigots. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I'm not going to change it. Yes, I started a little late, so I'll give you back your time, I can assure you. But I'll open the lines at this present moment and entertain your calls and your emails, my Straight Talk family. I wanted to get these points across to you because this project is a game changer, yes, for all of us as a people. And we must make sure if it changes in our favor and in no other favor but ours. The lines are now open, my Straight Talk family. I want to implore you as usual that I anticipate you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, we go to the lines and say good night to our first caller. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, my dear.
Those who will not reason are bigots.
Not reason are bigots. Mm-hmm.
Those who cannot are fools.
Those who cannot are fools. Mm-hmm.
And those who dare not are slaves.
Mm-hmm. Those who dare not are slaves.
Mm-hmm. I repeat, those who will not reason are bigots. Those who cannot are fools. And those who dare not are slaves. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. We always welcome your quotations. Very interesting one tonight. Those who will not reason are bigots. Those who cannot are fools. And those who dare not are slaves. Very interesting quotation, my Straight Dog family. And in the context of the question we ask as we take a deep dive inside the SEZ, we find libertarians, racists, and our bigots, my Straight Dog family. And outside of the SEZ, there is obviously those bigots on the outside, according to this quotation, those who will not reason. And there are those who cannot reason. And there are those who dare not reason. So we have bigots, fools, and slaves, my Straight Dog family. And the lines are open. The lines are open. It's 9:25. I promise I'll give you back your time. Yes. I will give you back your time. I always keep my promises, so fear not. You will get back your time, my Straight Dog family. But let's see, let's try and get rid of some of these emails in the meantime, my Straight Dog family. Yes, I'll get some of those emails, dispose of them. And this year's presentation of the national budget reads this email, for me, it's will be enthusiastic. And it should not be. The reason why I propose that is because we do not have an authentic leader of the opposition. That worthless, dirty snake has robbed and thoroughly plundered the people of St. Kitts, their constitutional rights, through machinations and political skullduggery, in collaboration with the governing Labour Party, was able to arrogate the leadership of the opposition onto himself, along with the fringes of the nominated senators. The snake will definitely not oppose anything in the budget that will offend the government, neither will he advance a robust debate, as would be expected from a bona fide opposition leader. Similarly, we do expect anything better that will be coming. We do not, I guess that should read, expect anything better that will be coming from the snake over two Tommy Tuckers, CCM members in the parliament. Certainly they too will be singing loudly for their supper. What will be very upsetting is when these three blind Nevis parliamentary idiots, my straight dog family, start criticizing Dr. Harris and Dr. Sean contribution, both of who will be demonstrating the real job of opposition members. I just want to issue this caveat to the biased speaker. Leave Harris and Sean alone. Let them utilize their constitutional latitude to speak on the budget without interference and interrupting yourself, Congress, and others. Just remember, woman speaker, nothing ever lasts. Caller, you're live.
Hey, Patches, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I want to follow up on that particular matter. It was your second observation. I think we all are aware that the 2026 federal budget estimates, revenue and expenditure projections will be presented tomorrow in our National Assembly.
Right.
I'm saying, let me, on behalf of the citizens, maybe I shouldn't speak for them, but I will for now, of St. Kitts and Nevis, challenge the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Mark Granby, to exhibit magnanimity. We the people issue this plea to the Honorable Mark Granby to invite the former Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, to give the opposition's response to the budget presentation.
True.
Let me explain the rationale. As you are well aware, and the country is aware, Dr. Harris was Minister of Finance in two administrations, the previous Labour administration and the recent Team Unity administration, with the distinguished record of presenting 8 surplus budgets over his tenure of 9 years. It was during the devastating and challenging year of COVID that we experienced a deficit budget. However, remarkably, we never needed any loan financing. We did not borrow any money. Most importantly, safety nets were instituted because of the prudent fiscal management, ensuring that money was available to weather the COVID storm. Dr. Harris's PhD is in administration with his graduate and undergraduate specialized training in accounting. It is, I would say, indeed necessary to make this point so that we all agree that Dr. Harris is eminently qualified and has a distinguished financial record to present a well-reasoned and detailed analysis of the budget. He understands the necessity to put aside a portion of revenue which can be available to absorb any unplanned disasters. And it is understood, and I think all of us appreciate, that over 90% of the budget focuses on revenue and expenditure on the island of St. Kitts. Honorable Mark Brantley has the opportunity to be a statesman and allow a successful Minister of Finance who represents a constituency on the island of St. Kitts to respond to reply to the 2026 budget. Dr. Harris, we expect, will be insightful and incisive in his rebuttal. You know, the beauty of passing on the baton and giving parliamentary good practices, Dr. Harris will be uninterrupted, as the rules stipulate that both the presenter and the responder shall make uninterrupted presentations. So I say, Mark, do right. Give Timothy the mic. We the people will applaud your statesmanship. Patches, thank you very much.
Can I ask you a question, Carlo?
Sure, man. I'm sure you know the voice, but go ahead.
I'm trying to recognize your voice myself.
And we go to the same church? Go ahead.
Okay, we do. But let me ask you, because you more or less preempted the question I was going to ask you, but you said it's 90% of the budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's to
yeah, I use that figure, but...
Well, I was going to ask you if the budget is not a budget for St. Kitts.
Well, I was being maybe generous because really it's a budget for St. Kitts, but I suppose, because some of the matters pertain to Nevis as well. So, yeah, the federal, but really it's a St. Kitts budget. Okay. And my view is, I have nothing against Mark Brantley, but for one, he doesn't understand economics, because you could see what the situation is in Nevis in terms of deficit spending. And here we have somebody who has been trained, somebody has given yeoman service, and over 9 years, as I said, 8 years, presented surplus budget. And that is why we were able to go through COVID without borrowing a cent. I mean, so many people had to go IMF and borrow money and so on. We didn't do that. And, he would understand the intricacies of a budget and be able to give his point of view, not necessarily, I wouldn't say necessarily criticism, but give an alternative view as how you approach certain things so we can get back in the black and get out of the red.
Okay. I think I recognize the voice now. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
Well said, my brother.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
right. I've said it better than this caller. And he used some very interesting words. He said, magnanimity is one. And of course, training. But the budget is really about St. Kitts. It's a St. Kitts budget. It's a budget for St. Kitts. Just like the elections, we can even go further. The federal elections is an election to elect a St. Kitts government. The NIA elects their own government. But caller, you're live.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good. Yes. I would first, second that caller was just coming there.
Okay.
Just talk to you there. I will second him 150%. Let Mark give him the mic. No interruption from the Speaker of the House, nor the soccer engineer, nor nobody, because they ain't know what they're doing. So please, Mark is too bright. So take the mic from him. He's too bright. We don't need them bright idea in the National Assembly to interrupt nobody. Give him the mic, Mark. You is too bright. You got all first. We don't need nobody who got all first, because if you got first and you is so backward, I wouldn't like it if you never have first. But please have a good evening. I will be back.
Good evening. I just recognize this voice as well. see your dimples.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You know what time it is?
Yes, my dear. Yes, my dear.
Who wakes dead?
Yes, my dear. But yes, my Straight Talk family, we are discussing, like I said, the inside the SEZ, but it's relevant because the SEZ is another way around all these legislation and pressure from the US and Europe and elsewhere. And everybody's talking about going back to Mother Africa. And we've heard, for example, Eric Evelyn, and he wasn't ashamed to say that he don't know where the people are going to be coming from for that zone in Nevis. He said this.
As well, which is, I believe, some misinformation. You say that most of the persons who will be living in the zone will be wealthy Americans. We don't know who we don't know whether they will be Americans, Europeans, or where they're going to be coming from, because we are not the ones who will be promoting the development, and we are not the one who's going to be selling the units that are there. So we cannot come and say that most of them will be Americans. We are not sure.
Not sure is his words. Will the people who are going to occupy that zone, 10,000 of them, he said. And Brantley has also told us bluntly that we are not going to see the details of the report, trying to fool us about going to Parliament makes it accessible to people. What nonsense. What nonsense, my Straight Talk family. And forgive me, I really forgot to present the information from the Financial Times tonight, but I'll get that for you before it's perhaps before. Hopefully, I try my best. Don't hold me to it, but the proposal is what the people need to see.
Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Hi, thank you. I have some questions about the proposal. Would it be possible for us to get a copy of the proposal that was submitted? What is the proposed residential population of the site?
The first question was, can the public get a copy of the proposal? That is not the norm, that we would share a copy, but I think that the proposal does speak about a population in that area in terms of people living there, tourists, because remember, as I said, they're talking about a minimum of 3 residential areas being created, and so they have advanced numbers of anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 people moving in and out of that particular zone.
Seeing the proposal is not normal, but this project is not normal. Not normal at all, to say the least. So the country ought to be able to review, peruse the project. We should be able to see that project and speak from authority, whether we like it or we hate it. Because my Straight Talk family, this is not something we should take lightly. Johnson's is in a hurry to pass the proposal. Johnson told us in no uncertain terms he has no intention to go into the new year and putting his pressure on Mark.
All the rumors that we already have a contract signed is completely false. So we're still negotiating with the government. We are in advanced negotiations, so we made it pretty far, but that might still take, I don't know how long, a couple of weeks, or hopefully sooner. I definitely don't want to have this go past New Year if we can, but we'll see where we end up.
Well, we'll see where we end up, are his words. How can the Prime Minister don't know about happenings in Nevis, but Johnson said it's a CBI project? Who is the minister in charge of CBI? Is this why the Labour government bought a property close to the CBI office in the Limekeel Commercial Park? Reads this email. But this is going to be one of the biggest scams, my Straight Dog family, in our history. 10,000 CBI applicants over in Nevis to buy units. And if we apply the standard, like I said, some 4 per family, a spouse and 2 children are allowed. That equates overnight to 40,000 residents in that 2,400-acre enclave. Dr. Drew reads this email. You are the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Do not allow the Nevis Premier to make any more fool out of you, as he did at the Bank of Nevis ceremony last week. My understanding is, for I was reliably informed, that the Premier requested that you wear a blue tie at the ceremony, which symbolizes his CCM party color. And you, being politically ignorant, wore the blue tie. Then in his address, he started off by saying he realized the Prime Minister is wearing a blue tie and not his usual red label. Does that mean the Prime Minister is a CCM? Which evoked a brief laughter from the audience. Dr. Drew, you see how Brantley has made a fool of you at the ceremony, causing the people of Nevis to intensify their bitter hatred for you, bearing in mind that you are the Prime Minister of Nevis as well, and has willfully refused to pay an official visit to Nevis to meet and greet the people and to hear their concerns. However, Mr. Prime Minister, no bother come. We don't want to hear nor see you anymore. We don't need you anymore, reads this other email. It's 16 before the 10 o'clock hour. We'll go a little after 10 o'clock just to give you back your time, my Straight Talk family. I deprived you of a few minutes. I did not recognize, and I apologize for that. But my Straight Dog family, I will bring you next time around an article from the Financial Times, which is one of the world's most influential and respected international newspapers based in London. It is best known for its authoritative coverage of global finance, economics, politics, and business and public policy. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, it's me, Patrice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I would like to know, let he come out and tell us how much he bought the house over there, what he said he bought for Massey's house, because you know Massey's house ain't good. And before he try and fix it, he gone to buy a house over there. We would like to know how much money he spent on top of the house, how much it costs, and if his taxpayers' money is paying for that. We need to know, because we know he's a drunken sailor, spending money. He do not know how to spend money, but he just spending money. And the load of lies that he telling, that is one of the country. So the country cannot run on lies. And there is people that make up out of lies. So we in for a rude awakening with those liar politicians. When they don't promise us a lot of things and what's not, when they don't, they go on top the stage and I come and tell people, lift me up, or you lift me up. When they don't make the promise and they can't fulfill. Let me come up and tell us that. We need to know. Lawyer. You.
Thank you very much. My Straight Talk family, one of Johnson's cronies was quoted as calling for guns to kill those sand niggers and their servants, just like the animals they are. It perhaps explains why Destiny needs its own security. As Johnson also said this, my Straight Talk family.
People really want to have a safe place to live with strict rule of law where they know their family can live. If you're wealthy, you'll be safe. And it's more about that for me, right? It's not about having a country whatsoever. You just need the safety. You need the right internal rules and regulations to make sure you can be safe. And that's the most important part. You don't need your own country from that. You can have a special economic zone in the world, like in the DIFC. Why is Monaco and the DIFC so attractive? And that's also answering the question why, right? The DIFC and Monaco are one of the safest places in the world. Why does it attract so many affluent individuals? Number one is safety for your family, right? When you have a family, number one you care about is my family safe? The second thing people care about, I would say, is between weather and taxation. In Monaco, you feel super safe because it's very safe. You don't have to pay taxes. You're in a great climate. Unfortunately, Monaco is fully built. It's high-rise. It's not that enjoyable to live. Dubai is way too hot, right? Is there an equivalent in terms of safety and taxation and climate in the Caribbean? Right now, there is not, right? St. Kitts and Nevis is not safe. It's pretty bad in terms of crime. And I'm just saying what's out there, right? I am not judging it. I'm just saying to attract that type of people, you need to be safe.
So why, have we asked ourselves the question, why would Johnson's want to come to a country that's not safe? Or is he just using this approach to ensure he gets his own security? And I must apologize for my overseas callers. I just recognized that my phone was just not on. So I believe that, yes, the lines are now open. I'm sorry about that, my callers. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, thank you, Brother Patches. I just recognized. Let me turn on my device. Yes, okay.
I'm sorry, my telephone was disconnected. I didn't hear that. I apologize for that. Yes, you. Are you there?
Yes, I'm trying to get. Hold on, it's not possible. Okay, got it. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yes,
I was getting nervous. I was getting nervous because I have 3 perspectives that I need to inject. Number one, good night, all listeners. Good night, folks. It's a pleasure to utter my utterance again. Now, let me go straight to the point. This is Christmas time when we have our celebration, and people intend to get drunk and wallow up in their celebration. But remember, we have an ultimatum hanging over our head in respect to Oliver Johnson and his timeline to get this project wrapped up before the end of the year. Today is the 15th, moving on to the 16th. And I am telling the people of the Federation to keep an eye on this project moving forward for finalization, and direct to the Premier of Nevis and the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis with the NIA supporters who is supporting the SSZ and the SEZ. Be mindful of what is going on and don't caught drunk sleeping, so to speak. And this project passed by while you are trying to get back sober. Also, I draw attention when you play that clip about with Eric Evelyn again, stating that, don't know, these people who are coming in the country, whether they are rich Americans or whosoever. I am not too keen on the fact that a rich American will be involved. But I am keen of Belgium, Europeans. And these are people who are underworld colonizers and trying their tactic in any shape or form to get their plan and their agenda accomplished. And you describe our leaders as three blind mice. But maybe they are more than three blind mice. We have to be mindful that this situation does not come to fruition. People of Nevis and St. Kitts and Nevis, let us put our weight on this. And the final analysis is the ballot on the day when election should be, whether it's in St. Kitts or whether it's in Nevis. It will be Nevis first in terms of the NIA, Nevis Island Administration. Do not be caught off guard, because that is the only slingshot that is there to put an end to this matter. But don't get caught drunk. And Mark Bentley, Premier of Nevis, pushed to this along with the collaboration of the federal government, Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Joe. I will leave it right there, and I will come in with another slingshot. Thank you for that time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your intervention. And I also have this article in relation to a crony of Oliver Johnson's. And as you can glean from your monitors, Johnson's tried to take down this article using his copyright claims. But in fact, that the quote came from one of his cronies, as you can see, that calling for guns to kill all those sand niggers and their servants, just like the animals they are. And this gives us quite a lot of concerns by the Straight Dog family. And as we also see as well that there is a plan afoot, I should say, that are made or alluded to just now by that last caller about moving that legislation through the Assembly. He did in fact say he'll take it to the Nevis Island Assembly and then move it on to the St. Kitts Parliament. But my straight dog family, the issues as they relate to this legislation and the laws as we speak, and Section 6.1 of the Act, I really should have posted this for you as well. If you read from your screens as well, a development agreement shall be deemed to have been authorized and be enforceable between the parties of the development agreement. Then this comes before ratification. As I mentioned earlier, it then should be ratified by the St. Kitts Parliament. But what do you have to ratify if it is binding? Ratification comes after signature by the Prime Minister again, which has to be, it is in fact enforceable. 6.1a, a development agreement shall be deemed to have been authorized and be enforceable between the parties of the development agreement. And then you ratify it? Something is wrong. We can't allow this to happen, my straight dog family. We just can't allow this to happen. But as we mentioned earlier, when the Financial Times, or this email, beg your pardon, this email reads, let me get this email, I keep forgetting this, my emails, forgive me, my straight dog family. Good night, Mr. Libert. A pleasant evening to you from an individual now living in cold London, England. I am not sure whether you read the recent article in the Financial Times, London, but if you haven't, here's a synopsis of what was reported. Excuse me. The Financial Times reports that a controversial development project called Destiny is being proposed on the Caribbean island of Nevis, led by wealthy Bitcoin investor Oliver Johnson and his company, South Nevis Limited. The plan would create a large libertarian-style community underpinned by a new Nevis law, the Special Sustainability Zone Authorization Act, designed to attract major foreign investment and allow flexible governance arrangements. Under this law, Destiny could include residential villas, clinics, and its own dispute resolution system or court-like mechanisms, raising concerns among locals about legal autonomy and governance. Johnson says the development would still respect national law and improve efficiency and self-governance. The project is framed by proponents as part of the broader network state movement, appealing to tech-oriented libertarian supporters. Locals and some politicians have expressed unease about the process, saying the law was passed without wide public consultation and worrying that the development could operate like a state within a state. In negotiations with the government, Johnson has suggested significant infrastructure investment, reportedly about $50 million, but critics remain wary of the legal and governance implications and the potential impacts on Nevis's sovereignty and community. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good evening, man, to you and the listeners home and abroad.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, that section you just read through there with that ratification and all that details really put me mad at that Charlestown Accord. You know, we know in the old days, some people shook hands and the deal was made. You know, some people have a verbal agreement and a deal is made. A contract should be binding, and I don't see why I need all these extra layers of approval. Once a deal is signed, a deal is signed. Once a contract is made, it should be enforceable. Anyway, I'm just encouraging the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, the citizens, keep your eyes on the prize. Finishing up this year strong and into the new year. Was there a Roger Ver sighting in the Federation over the weekend? And it said also that Wednesday there should be a judicial review. You know, I'm hearing that some persons are going to file a judicial review in the courts in the Federation against that SSA law. You know, we wait to clarify some of these, stories. But me, undoubtedly, I'm keep lending my voice to the opposition of that law, SSA law, and that proposed Destiny Project for Nevis. And don't forget, people, DJ Marisha is going to have another rally coming up. I think might be Friday. I'm not that sure, but I think it's the last one for him for the year. And I ask all people of the Federation who is so interested in stopping that SSA law and that Destiny Project and Nevis to come on out and support. And I will leave it there. Thanks a lot, Patches, man.
Thank
you guys
you.
have a good night.
Thank you for your intervention as usual. I believe we all love Nevis. And we love St. Kitts and Nevis. But love demands vigilance. And we must say it now as we did before. We are not anti-development. We are anti-secrecy. And we are anti-conflict. And we are anti-arrogance. And we will not be bullied into silence. Because democracy does not belong to cabinets. It belongs to the people. And the people are watching. And yes, I read that Financial Times article. I really thought I had downloaded it to post it on your screens, and forgive me for that, my Straight Dog family. Serious oversight. And the Financial Times is one of the world's most influential and respected international newspapers. And it's the headlines that caught my attention. And I'll share it with you, God's willing, on Thursday. The headlines, as I said, I will share with you. But the Financial Times is best known, my Straight Talk family, for its authoritative coverage on global business, or global finance, I should say, economics, politics, business and public policy. And the headlines, Bitcoin investor plans Caribbean community with his own court. And what was interesting in the Financial Times, it spoke to the conflict of interest with or between or that's smack in the middle. That's the Premier and his wife, Sharon Mama Brantley. But when the Financial Times reports on a country or project, it signals that the issue has international significance and credibility. Its reporting, my Straight Dog family, is typically based on extensive fact-checking and multiple sources, making the Financial Times coverage difficult for governments or investors to dismiss as partisan and uninformed. But my Straight Dog family, we will get back to that. And I'll share some more of that Financial Times article next time around, but please forgive me, like I said. Please forgive me for that. But as we wind down tonight's programming, we will perhaps take one of or two calls if you're so minded calling. But my Straight Talk family, again, tomorrow is budget day. And I have heard a strong suggestion by our first caller, I think it was, for Mark Brantley to demonstrate magnanimity, as he called it, and yield to the third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, and allow him to respond to the budget. Equal time. So we the people in St. Kitts and Nevis can be better informed. Mark don't know his derriere from his elbow. So why would he want to respond to a budget? And a matter of fact, he is a Labour backbencher sitting on the opposition side. For 4 years, or just about that, he has not, or going on to 4 years, he has not ever acted like the leader of the opposition. So why would he want to respond to the budget in these times? Does he want to cover for Dr. Drew as he's been doing all the years? But my Straight Talk family, as we wind down, as I said, the Destiny Project proposes accommodation for 10,000 CBI applicants. We will see from the budget estimates to be laid in Parliament tomorrow what are the projections for CBI fees. And that will tell us a lot. A whole lot in terms of the performance of the CBI to come in 2026. My Straight Dog family, we spoke tonight about the lack of explanations. We spoke as well about this disposition of our country. And I said this before, and tonight I must repeat it, that we stand at the crossroads in our country, not at the crossroads of imagination or innovation, but a crossroads of transparency versus secrecy, democracy versus arrogance, and sovereignty versus surrender. And my Straight Talk family, as we wind down tonight's programming, we are demanding transparency. Nevis and the NIA have a duty, a moral duty, to ensure that any partnerships respects human dignity, equality, and the safety of every person living on our soil. Again, issues have been raised as it relates to Johnson's libertarian views. He's referred to as a Belgian racist, a bigot. That's in print. But all we're asking is for the repeal of the act. That's what the country is demanding. And Mark Brandley has a moral obligation, not just a political one, to ensure that anyone welcome to shape the future of Nevis, and by extension St. Kitts, respects human dignity, equality, and the safety of our people. I'll take this and make this my last call. Caller, can you be guided by the rules of brevity? Can you?
Yes, sir.
Please.
It seems like you know what I was going to say, but let me say it from my mouth. In respect to the budget to be introduced tomorrow, again, I am calling upon all speakers to respect each other without any kind of interruption. Everyone has their chance to state their claim. As we know, Timothy Harris should and shall have his say. And I know the spoiler of any time Mr. Harris spoke and has spoken, Mr. Conneris, because I am a witness. At a point of time, I sat at Parliament when there was the amendment for the corruption bill. And I saw how they tried to deprive Harris from speaking. I'm not speaking over favor or fortune, but I'm speaking over rule of law and the discipline one should conduct themselves in the House. It was embarrassing. Please, if I may say, children, behave yourself and conduct yourself accordingly. Or else. Thank you for the time. Bye for now.
Thank you for your contribution, as usual. And as we wind down tonight's programming, I want to, perhaps let me take this call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Yes, caller, you're live. Yes, my dear.
Yes, I called back to tell the man from St. Vincent that he can go and pay his double salary, because we double salary minister is not in office. And them here is a joker. They just for themselves and not for we. So we double salary minister is out of office, and these are they got in India, they cannot get double salary because they just for themselves and nobody else. Have a pleasant good evening.
Have a pleasant evening as well. Let's go back to the line and take this. I'll make this my final call for tonight. Caller, you're live. I'm about to wrap. I'm going to give you...
Hi, good night, my husband. Good night.
I'll give you 15 seconds. Can you use it?
Season greetings to you. How are you? How is your family?
We are peaceful. We are peaceful. Yours?
Yes, we are blessed.
Yeah, I'm out of time now, so make it quickly.
I know you're out of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say,
quickly,
Mark Bradley and Dr. Judah have Sinkits and Nevis people them presently right now, like a laughing stock. But Sinkits and Nevis people going to wake up, and they're going to wake up with the item wide open, not to put back Mark Bradley there, not to put back Dr. Joe there, the part that is. Because all kind of things going on in this place, Mr. Lloyd. But what happened in the dark? What does go on in the dark does come out, surely come out in the light. This is Christmas. We know that this is Christmas and this is the birth of Jesus. And nobody could feel the Christmas season coming like when Dr. Timothy Harris was in there. When Dr. Timothy Harris was in there, you could feel the Christmas. Because he done broadcast and say double salary. St. Vincent government just when he lose and then got a new prime minister down there and he going up a double salary. What happened to him? He didn't pay nothing. What happened to him? He ain't pay nothing. Mr. Leiber, you there?
Yes, I'm listening to you, my dear. That's the question.
Okay. The doctors and the nurses, the teachers, the policemen, them, those who working on the road. Public work and with others, nothing for them. They're not accustomed to nothing. They can't enjoy the Christmas. So then they're going to enjoy the one because they reap the fruit of labor. So they're going to enjoy the Christmas, not poor people who put them inside there. I want to see, Mr. Lloyd, when did they come? If the people think that Nevis going back to sleep and put them back inside there, they better wake up the backside because the same thing. He think Timothy gonna come up on a handy backside. Okay. You have a wonderful good night.
Have a wonderful night as well. And yes, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have looked to the performance of Timothy Harris.
I forgot that I had to mention to our hard-working public servants, right, that we often hear Sinkits getting a double bubble. And they often ask, what about us? So it's historical. It's going to be the first time that St. Vincent and the Grenadines public servants will ever be receiving a double bubble for Christmas. First time. So you know, it is a reality. And we have to also make that a reality. Okay, never happened before, and we can brag like Sinkits now. And those other countries where the governments have done. You can't compare that with 3%. And for those workers, especially those at the very bottom getting $30, consider $30 versus $1,000+. The maths is really simple. So let's get this done.
Thank you.
And that's St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Don't be mistaken, my Straight Dog family. It's not St. Kitts. They are just taking an example from St. Kitts. And I would just like to leave this advice from the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mayor Amor Motley, who said this as well.
While our parliamentary proceedings are public and accessible, I fully accept that it is not reasonable to expect every citizen to watch Parliament, to read legislation, or to decipher financial language on their own. We expect that of those who really belong to the financial literacy class, but not everyone. If we have not explained something carefully enough, then it is our responsibility, and certainly my responsibility, to come and explain it plainly, directly, and respectfully.
And that's the responsibility of our leaders. Why are the citizens of St. Kitts Nevis treated like that? Read this email. People spend their hard-earned money but they are meat kinds for Christmas. What is this saying? And when you gobbling up your stuff, all my pork chops and etc. and spare ribs, take away, talking about some restriction. Over $200 is gone down the drain like that. Reads this email. And this final email, dear Patches, there was a town hall this evening in Nevis with a panel from the Nevis Civil Society Coalition, streamed by JD's production and more. It offers new perspectives. Please watch. Thank you for that. I'll get that information. And my Straight Talk family, finally, as we wind down tonight's programming, I must say, finally, that the things we've heard and the records stated gives all of us legitimate cause for concern about Johnson's past associations and statements. That history is documented and publicly accessible. Mark Brantley alluded to transparency in 2025, but it is partial. But my Straight Talk family and caller, I'm going to only give you 10 seconds. Can you use it?
Yeah, 10 seconds is wonderful.
Yes, just 10 seconds, no more, please. I mean it.
10 seconds. The word of God says, blessed is the man that considereth the poor. And the word of God says in Psalm 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide on the shadow of thy mighty. That is, good night.
Good night. Not a nice way to end it. The Bible man, good to hear from you. And we've heard the talk about transparency, good governance, accountability. But it's partial. So tonight and thereafter, let us take a deeper dive into this Destiny Project to see what we find inside the SEZ. Libertarians, racists, and bigots. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I will thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I want to thank you, the many viewers, those who connected tonight on YouTube, Facebook, Alexa, and those who call. Forgive me, my telephone was down the overseas line for a bit, but forgive me for that. And those who sent emails, just remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, my people, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you gotta believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.